is important on society and
You see, the problem of human trafficking is very serious because human beings being reduced to the level of chattels. Chattel means commodities. Is very unfortunate, and because human beings are not able to exercise autonomous choice, they are induced by certain antisocial elements, and they are put into this human trade, sometimes sexual exploitation, sometimes the work of maids, and sometimes domestic help, and even at certain business establishments also. And people are not able to study, their youth is wasted, and women are sexually exploited. So today, Arz Anyay Rahat Zindagi organized this program in coordination with Goa Police to make
Students, the
people
refreshments to
aware
serve.
about the implications of this serious problem. Though police is there to take action against antisocial elements, but unless the society gets aware, they come forward, share information with law enforcement agencies, they are ready to depose in a court of law, we will not be able to make a dent on this problem. So the main purpose of organizing this function by Arz was to educate people so that people are aware about the evils of this institution, and they would willingly come forward to assist the law enforcement organization. So many more people need to come forward, many more NGOs needs to come forward, because state has a very limited role to play, because the problems take shape in societies, problem take shape in mohallas, localities. So people have to share this information with the law enforcement. So idea of this conference was primarily to educate people. We are grateful to Arz that they organized this program today.
sir is Goa is बहुत हुआ था कल last time Juari Bridge or some other bridge.
देखिए जो कल इंसिडेंट हुई है वो बहुत अनफॉर्चुनेट है, एंड आवर हार्ट गोज टू द फैमिली मेम्बर्स ऑफ दोज हु डाइड, बट एट द सेम टाइम द सिटीजन्स need to understand that there are traffic rules. What they are handling is a very powerful machine. Machine should not control the human being, but human being should control the machine. So speed, there is a speed limit on certain stretches of road, and citizens need to follow that. And this accident happened early wee hours of the morning, around 1 o'clock, when the traffic density is also very less. You cannot say that they were trying to cross somebody. So it is assessed that the speed of the offending vehicle would be very, very high, because breaking the crash barrier and then going into the river mouth of the ocean, it would require very high speed, because ultimately it is the momentum, mass into velocity. So speed would be very high of the vehicle to break that crash barrier. So we have instructed our traffic police now that random check on certain stretches during the night also against drunken driving and over speeding. But ultimately, as I said earlier, the education at the school level, college level, most important family level, that families should tell young people that they should follow traffic rules. Particularly at this accident, the victims were more than 30 years of age, reasonably aware about the traffic rules. But every citizen need to follow traffic rules, and we are living in a society governed by law. So everybody, including the police officers, are supposed to follow traffic rules. Whenever we find that even our own policemen are not following the traffic rules, we take action against them, whether he or she is riding the two-wheeler without helmet, whether he or she is indulging in overspeeding. Recently, we have educated our own staff also to follow traffic rules, because one young police officer, he died in an accident on Mandvi River Bridge. So this problem is there, and we will definitely tackle it through education, through strict enforcement of traffic.
Sir, how do you see
एक टूरिज्म ट्रैफिकिंग और इसका बारे में कुछ गोवा पुलिस कुछ क्या अवेयरनेस के लिए कुछ मोर प्लान है जो
So first of all, we are developing information, because unless information is there, any tourist place would become a very attractive target for such kind of offences, because customers are available, tourists come, they have the purchasing power. So antisocial elements target tourist place because they get the business there. So as I said earlier, that we need to tackle this problem with more efforts, coordination with NGOs. So I have instructed my officers also that we need to tackle this problem with all seriousness that it deserves. No human being should be put into a profession without his consent. So bringing girls and sexually exploiting them is a very heinous offense, because it demoralizes him or her, or it demolishes his dignity, and he or she is not able to exercise his autonomous decision. So he loses control over himself or herself. So human autonomy is affected. So this problem is very serious, and we are also dealing with this problem with all seriousness.
sir, any difficulties for Goa police to handle such cases or finding out such cases in Goa?
Primarily, when these cases go for trial, so evidence is required. The greatest problem with the successful trial of these cases is the victim sometimes recants her statement or his statement, either out of fear, or he or she thinks that he or she will not be able to find any alternate profession. So the victim's testimony is of essence in successful prosecution of a trial. And similarly, we also don't get other people to depose successfully. And sometimes trials also take very long time. So people tend to forget their statements, although we make them refresh their statements, but still with the elapse of time, sometimes the people are acquitted, and we are not able to attack this problem with ferociousness. Ultimately, it is the certainty of punishment which will make a dent on such crimes. So we have organized a conference with the public prosecutors, director of उसमें ऐसा increased, and they are always remain stable, because most of the people are arrested and put on trial. So we cannot quantify this problem, because it's not a kind of offense where you build history sheets, or because sometimes if he or she feels pressure here, then he will shift the base to some other state, other tourist destination. So it is very difficult to say whether this is increasing or decreasing, but yes, problem is there. We can only say that problem is there.
So one fact that it is associated with tourism activities. So do you think it can be stopped, like enforcement by public awareness?
Because ultimately elimination of any social evil is difficult, because human greed will always be there. So because there is lot of money, as certain speakers in this conference said, that this is the third largest organized crime. But yes, with successful prosecution of the cases, this problem can be tackled. And if we are able to secure conviction, that will send a message to those people who are involved in this kind of activities to deter from such activities.
One of the convictions of
Sir, how are you seeing
मसाज और सलून उसके नाम पे बहुत ह्यूमन ट्रैफिकिंग गोवा में हो रहे हैं, उसके ऊपर आप क्या?
नहीं, आपने पिछले दिनों में देखा होगा कि दोनों जिलों के अंदर बहुत सारे जो इलीगली रन मसाज पार्लर्स थे, उनको बंद किया गया है. बट एट द सेम टाइम मैं ये भी कहना चाहूँगा कि ये एक आयुर्वेदिक जैसे कहते हैं सिस्टम है, और हम नहीं चाहते कि हम उसके बीच में भी किसी इस तरह का नाजायज़ फियर डाला जाए किसी के मन में. किसी की बोनाफाइडी जो एक्टिविटी है जो इसमें अच्छी तरह से ट्रेंड ऑपरेटर्स के थ्रू ये काम कर रहे हैं, प्रॉपर लीगल सिस्टम को अडॉप्ट करके ये काम कर रहे हैं। एट द सेम टाइम हम आपके थ्रू उनको भी ये मैसेज देना चाहते हैं कि उनको किसी भी तरह की हरासमेंट नहीं होगी, बट दे नीड टू obtain the required permission from the government departments, health authorities, and run the business as per the proper rules and procedures.
सर ये गोवा
Not with the quantity, but as I said, ke ultimately we are a ratio to the population. In any society, number of policemen is always limited, policemen or policewomen, because in certain countries it is one constable per 500 population. In certain countries it is one constable per 250. So ultimately it is the citizens who have to take the lead. They need to follow the laws. Yes, there will be strict enforcement, but that can be only random. You know, it is not sustainable. There are other law and order requirements, and then police has to be involved in successful prosecution of crimes also. But random check will definitely have a salutary point.
थैंक यू
To fining us, the roads are not proper. First do that and then fine us. How do you see on this issue?
But since roads are not good, people should understand the condition of the road. We are a monsoon state where during monsoon, yes, roads would definitely be, there would be water holes. But at the same time, people should negotiate these holes through slow driving. And the Honorable Minister also has said that they will be installing CCTV, repairing the roads. But ultimately, it is the individual who is riding the two-wheeler or who is driving the motor vehicle. Because when he is given a driving license, he gets that driving license under certain conditions that he or she will follow the traffic rules. So ultimately, it is the individual, and enforcement can be only there to change the behavior of the people. You cannot put law enforcement officer on every inch of the road. Ultimately, it's a symbolic presence of the law enforcement, so that citizens should understand that in case he or she violates such rules, they can be prosecuted. So, but I would say that individual needs to be responsible, because the driving license which they've got, they have cleared an exam, so that compliance of condition is not confined to only getting the driving license. But once they start driving, they need to follow the traffic rules.
सर जी वन लास्ट क्वेश्चन कम हो जाती है
नहीं, जैसा मैंने पहले भी कहा कि एक ट्रायल के अंदर बहुत सारी चीज़ें रिक्वायर्ड होती हैं. पहले तो प्रोफेशनल इन्वेस्टिगेशन होनी चाहिए. जो उसके अंदर विटनेसेस हैं उनको करेक्टली डिपोज करना होता है. कई बार लोग सही तरह से डिपोज नहीं करते हैं या कोर्ट में ही नहीं आते हैं. कई बार वो अपना एड्रेस चेंज करके चले जाते हैं. तो ये बहुत सारी समस्याएं आती हैं सक्सेसफुल प्रोसिक्यूशन के लिए. और मैंने अपने यहाँ भाषण में भी यही कहा था कि सिटीजन्स नीड टू बी वेरी रिस्पॉन्सिव एंड दे शुड कम फॉरवर्ड नॉट ओनली फॉर शेयरिंग इंफॉर्मेशन बट ऑल्सो डिपोजिंग correctly, truthfully in the court of law. It so happens sometimes that victim also recants his or her statement. तो victim की statement जो testimony है वो बहुत important होती है successful conclusion of trial. तो victim also should depose in a court of law the way he or she has been dealt with by the anti-social laws.
Thank you, sir.
So in coming days we will see a moon.
कैसे फिर से बोलिएगा.
जो those who are involved in the human trafficking उनको